Hey, hi, it's Stephanie with This Reader's Life, Books and Other Blessings, and I'm glad that you found me. If you are coming back, welcome back. If you are here for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and follow if you want to, and I hope you have a good time while you're here. Um, right now, what I'm going to talk about is a book haul, this would be the first one I've talked about for this year because I am technically in a no buy book year. So I'm not supposed to be buying books. I just thought it would be a good idea for me to read what I have and to utilize the library to go about it in that way. And I did not buy any new books, but I did buy some books. And it kind of happened by accident, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, but I'm still considering this technically a no-buy book year. But this little mini haul I'm excited to talk about because I felt like I found such good ones. Um, this started when I went to Goodwill. It was before I went on my vacation, and I was trying to find just a little bag that I could put a few little things in for my trip for when we went in and out of hotels as we were traveling and stuff like that. And I didn't find one, but at Goodwill they had a giant wall of about four shelves, from ceiling to floor, four or five um, levels of books all along one wall, and I had to stop and look and just peruse a little, and of course I wasn't buying anything, and I bought four books there. So, but the prices were really good at Goodwill. The regular price for their paperbacks is about $2. I think it's $1.93, and then the green tag books were marked at half price, so they were half of that. So they cost less than $1. And then I went to pick up a prescription, and there was all kinds of construction, and I had to pull into a different parking lot and get myself turned around. And it was in a part of Leavenworth that I've never really been around, driven in, certainly not that particular parking lot. And it was a little strip mall, and down at one end, kind of tucked into a corner, there was a bookstore. It's a used bookstore. It's called the sign, I think, says half price books. It's a hand painted sign in red and white. And then there's also a Facebook page which I had never seen, and she calls it Book Exchange. The shop itself has been there for 34 years, and the lady that runs it, she was so nice and really nice to talk to. I will go back there often, and I will certainly, because it's local, I will certainly not hesitate to buy books there. But I did find four books there, and I'm excited about everything that I found. And I wouldn't have bought something if I didn't think it was, number one, a good deal, and number two, I like to buy local. So it's nice to help the community in that respect. But I'm going to talk about, there's 8 books altogether, and I'll talk about each one. I have not, the only one of them have I ever read. I bought it as a potential reread, and because of the nostalgia involved with it. But the first one that I bought at the bookstore is, I was so excited about this one. This is Undaunted Courage by Stephen E. Ambrose, and I was, number one, excited to find this. Number two, I'm amazed at what wonderful shape it's in. It's in good condition. And also the price on this was $6, which I thought was super reasonable. Books are so expensive now. So I bought this. It's about Meriwether Lewis and Thomas Jefferson and the opening of the American West, which would be the Lewis and Clark expedition when they were looking for the Northwest Passage. And I'm super anxious to read this. I've read bits and pieces of the Lewis and Clark journals and diaries, and I've read actually some fiction about that particular expedition, but I've not read anything that was comprehensive. And Stephen E. Ambrose is a wonderful historian, and so I'm looking really forward to reading through this book. The print in it is really small. I'm used to reading on my Kindle, which has a bright backlight, of course. So I'll be getting my reading glasses out and seeing where are my reading glasses, and seeing what I can do with that. But I'm really looking forward to reading it. I won't really have that much trouble, but it has been a while since I read something with really small print, so we'll see. The next one is Colleen McCullough, and I actually got two of these at the bookstore that I was visiting. This one is called The Touch, and it is, of course, Colleen McCullough wrote The Thornbirds, which was a book that I really, really enjoyed a long time ago. But this one looks really good too, and once I read that, I don't think I read anything else by her. But let's see. This one says New South Wales, which would be um, Australia, I think, 1872. From a life of poverty in his native Glasgow, Alexander Kinross acquires a fortune traveling the globe and lands on a continent where self-made men can inherit the world. Now immensely wealthy, the former boilermaker's apprentice founds a gold mining town and sends to Scotland for a bride, his young cousin Elizabeth. Bearing Alex two daughters, alone and isolated in his massive house, save for the Chinese servants, naive Elizabeth vies for Alex's affections with the headstrong Ruby, his mistress and business partner. So this sounds like a historic romance and probably literary fiction, and I think I will really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, which I considered a good find. The other Colleen McCullough book that I have here is another historical book. It is The Horse, what is it? The October Horse. And it takes place in the Roman Empire near the end of their republic, and it is involving Gaius Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, which I have hair stuck to it. I have I know very little about this time, but I think it sounds fascinating. It is a chunky book. There's a lot of it here, and so I'm looking forward to reading it. It has a glossary in the back of it that is like 20 pages long, so all kinds of locations and Latin words and so on and so forth. So I'm looking for that one. Probably very educational. I am looking forward to reading that. This one I bought because it brought back so much nostalgia when I saw the picture on the front. It is Bless the Beasts and the Children, and it was published in the 70s, I think, and I definitely read it when I was in high school, but I'm probably old enough to drive when I saw it. It's a story about 6 young men or young boys who are at camp, and they're all in the same cabin together, and they're sort of misfits. They all have their own certain set of problems with either their family life or just because of their personalities. They have a hard time. And they find out about something that's going to happen that they feel like is not right and is upsetting to them, and they decide to go on a little bit of a quest to see if they can stop it, if they can keep it from occurring. And so and it's all very undercover, and I think they have to short wire a car or whatever you call that. So anyway, I'm sort of looking forward to reading it again. When I was a kid, I was totally I felt like what they were doing was so smart, and now I'm not so sure. But anyway, I'm looking forward to rereading that one. And then at Goodwill, this first one that I picked up is, and I keep coming across this book when I'm just out and about, or used copies of it, or at the library. I've noticed it, and it is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And this is certainly not his first book. It's sort of considered to be possibly his masterpiece. However, he is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and they also made a movie out of this book. But this is a post-apocalyptic novel, and it's called The Road, and I don't know very much about it. I'm going to read the back, but there's not much to it at all. It says, "The Road is the profoundly moving story of a journey. It boldly imagines a future in which no hope remains, but in which a father and his son, each the other's world entire, are sustained by love." So I don't know very much about it, but I am looking forward to reading it. I've read one other book that would be considered post-apocalyptic, and that is The Dog Stars by Peter Heller, and I enjoyed that book so much that I cannot imagine that I could possibly like a book better than that book, but we're going to find out. So that's another one that I plan to read. The other one that I found, and this was a green tag, so this was half price. It cost $1. It is by, I do not know how to say her first name, but the last name is Ivy, and the name of the book is The Bright Edge of the World. And I thought the premise on this one just sounded so interesting that I had to get it. It says, in the winter of 1885, decorated war hero Colonel Alan Forrester leads a small band of men on an expedition that has been deemed impossible, to venture up the Wolverine River and pierce the vast, untamed Alaska territory. Forrester records his extraordinary experiences in hopes that his journal will reach his newly pregnant wife, Sophie, if he doesn't return. Because once he passes beyond the edge of the known world, there's no telling what awaits him. There's no telling what awaits him. Anyway, I thought this sounded really, really fascinating. There's some interesting, there's a few little illustrations in here. It looks like there's some photographs or some line drawings and things like that. So I'm looking really forward to reading this, and we'll see what it's all about. So the next one that I found is Barbara Pym, A Few Green Leaves. I've not ever read any Barbara Pym, but I've heard of her. I think it was one of the girls in my book club group that recommended it to me, and it says here, in A Few Green Leaves, the author combines the rural setting of her earliest novels with many of the themes and even some of the characters of her later ones. Switching points of view among many characters, she builds with accumulating effect the picture of life in a town forgotten by time, yet affected dramatically by it. And this is apparently a book that she wrote very shortly before her death, and they say that it is a wry portrait of life in an English village in Oxfordshire. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, none of these are on my May to be reads except for Undaunted Courage. And then the last one that I picked up at the last one that I picked up is The Whistling Season, and it's by Ivan Doig. And I don't know very much about him. I know he's written some books, and I know that he's well loved. He's written 10 books other than this one. However, this one says, in the unforgettable fall of 1909, Rose Llewellyn and her brother Morris Morgan bring west with them several kinds of education, none of them of the textbook variety, and life is never again the same in Marias Coulee, Montana. So I probably mispronounced the name of the town. However, I loved the cover of this book, and I truly bought it mostly because of the cover. I'm a Midwest girl, and I like barns and old churches and old schools, and so I was attracted to the picture, so I bought it. I think that I will enjoy it. We'll find out. And so, like I said, I plan to continue my no-buy year, but I was really excited about my little mini book haul. I don't know if this will be it for the year, but I'm going to kind of hold on to that as my goal. But I wanted to share these with you, and I want to know if anybody's read any of these and has any suggestions or opinions or just ideas about the books that I'm getting ready to read. If you would like to tell me about them, I would be glad to hear it. And also, if there's anything that you really didn't like, I always like to hear that too. Some people will say, I tried that book 3 times and it didn't work for me, and that's fine too. And sometimes that's the way it works, and I don't think that's wrong. And I also don't think it's wrong to come back and try again, because I had to do that with Middlemarch, and I had to do that with another book that I'm currently reading, which is A Prayer for Owen Meany. I had tried before, and I had not liked it, and this time I'm enjoying it a lot so far, which I'll talk about in another video. But that's my little mini book haul that I was so excited about, and I will try to put up a picture of the of the little bookstore, at least so you can see the front sign. I just think it's just, there's something adorable about it. So anyway, until the next time we get together, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to the planet, be blessed, and you all have a good day.